Okay, well, first of all, welcome to 2021. Sun shining and we're moving forward. We're all in the first week of it. And I don't think there's any surprises, during our discussions that we've had a few sessions before here, plus at the international conference. The talk was that going into 2021, there would still be somewhat of a shutdown, COVID wasn't disappearing. And we're seeing that, right? We planned that in January, sort of that's what we would expect to see. We talked about it, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that, places are still, going into lockdown. We still have a shortage of listings. Consumers are still trying to understand which way the market's going to go. Questions are out there on, what's 2021 going to look like? Is there going to be a crash? Is the market going to continue? Those are some of the things I wanted to cover off today too. And more importantly though, is understanding that the market is going to be good, but you have to work, okay? Which you all know that. But I just wanted to touch points on some of the things that you should be doing right now in the start of the year. One of the first things that is really, really important is you really have to look at the importance of your database, okay? Your database is your lifeline. So what you have to really look at is, what are you doing with your database? What can you do with your database? A couple things that I would point out is you have to be proactive with your database. And what I mean by that is you have to put out information that's relevant. You can put out information in a general format, absolutely. But you actually are the conduit to your clients for answering some questions. And so with your database, you want to make sure that you can put information out to them that'll engage them in some kind of conversation, some kind of communication. And the reason I'm saying that is the issue is that consumers, your database, all of them have access to so much information. Like right now, when you think about it, they can actually find out what's going on with the solds now. All that information is out there. So what you have to really look at, and what I've really discovered with last year, really concentrated on working my database better, is that they all have all the information. If they're looking at thinking about doing anything, they're online and they're getting bombarded with general information. So what you have to do is you really have to look at sending your database information, but then dissect your database into smaller groups, and possibly individually, and really focus some direct information to those people. Because you need to be that person that all of a sudden becomes that niche specialist. So one of the things, I was talking to one of our other agents and changed a bit of his program, what he does, because he really works a database, really works a farm area, and found that the general information wasn't attracting as much communication or questions. Yet when changed the message, so the message that went out was more geared to a specific area or a specific clientele, then the engagement increased. So one of the things I really would like you to do is, look at your database, make sure you're getting all the make sure you're contacting them, several times a year, and such as, you can use a monthly general newsletter, absolutely. But then take a look at the database and say, okay, now for this particular group, if this is my first time buyer group, send them something totally different, but still understanding that you got to communicate with them, and you'll get better engagement than just doing a general information. It's one of the things that I noticed last year with talking with different brokers, doing different sessions with international, is the message has to be more specific and make you, what you guys are, the specialists, the experts in those different categories. Okay. But if you just send that same general information to everybody, you're not going to be any different than everybody else on the internet who's just putting out general information. Okay. The other thing that you should be looking at doing is making sure that you communicate with your database in more than just one venue, more than just one media. So if all you're doing is emails, then unfortunately you may find that some of your database, that's fine, they read them, but I just know for myself, I know which of my clients in my database really like to talk on the phone. I know which ones will respond to me by text, won't email me or won't respond to an email, but by text right away communicate. So just go through your database and make sure you actually have somewhere in your database that you can see how they like to be communicated with. Okay? Because that's important. Working the database is really, really important. The biggest factor is if you're also doing a database that is a physical database, so a farm area, narrow it down. Okay, make it so that your messages, so if you're into farming or if you're into flyering, make sure you narrow it down so that you're not putting out thousands and thousands of general information. You're better off to take smaller groups and make it so that it's community based, because the consumer, what we have found, wants to get the information that's more geared to what that specific area is or what their specific issue is. So if you are looking at, again, doing farming or big database kind of thing, do look at making sure it's specific to smaller groups. You'll get more engagement because you will come across as being more of the expert in that versus just being general. Make sense? Any comments on that thought? Okay. So I just let me just go through, just made some different notes based on what stuff I've been seeing. Yeah, so really what
I have a comment on that thought.
Sure.
And as far as flyers,
yeah.
We all get flyers in our mailbox, and some of them are so completely convoluted we don't even read them. Even as realtors, I look at it and I'm like, this is too much to read. So the flyers that go out need to be concise, precise, and just very to the point, easy to read. You can't put a novel on the back of a flyer. It'll go right into the recycling bin.
Yep.
Get to the point right away. If you're going to flyer, it has to be to the point right away.
Yeah, and that's a good point. It has to be. And also, any message you put out, you're right, you've got to capture, even though they're your database, you got to capture their attention and get to the point. And that's why if you change the messaging, like absolutely, make sure you have your, once a month, your newsletter goes out with, general information. But understanding that to make your database work for you, you need to communicate 26 times a year. Okay? You've got to be in that 26 times a year realm. And it doesn't matter if it's a newsletter and then you got holidays and you've got, Facebook, direct messaging you can do. So there's different avenues, direct text, whatever. But really to make it work, you need to have 26 times a year. And the reason that number is because then they look at you as being active all the time. Because you're doing smaller messages, it's more personable than it is just generic. And they're more inclined to refer you business because they see you active all the time. And yeah, absolutely. Once a month newsletter, if that's all you're doing, that's okay. But they're going to look at it as being, okay, well, let's just put it in the system and let it go. Okay. So what we were finding is, through the different stuff this year, really starting to make it more niche and making the message exactly what you were saying, Nancy, making it concise. Like here's the point and here's the call to action. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Okay. Something else that that I would recommend, now that, you're working your database is you have to calm the public. Okay? One of the issues right now is that, and it has been since COVID hit, is, and I'm even getting questions still today on, Well, how are you guys doing business? Is business happening? So depending on the consumer or your, your database or the clients or however you're chatting with, even your realtor community that sends you business, you have to calm the public. What I mean by that is you have to let them know that you are very knowledgeable. You've been doing business during COVID. You've been helping people buy and sell real estate in a very successful way, safe way, following all the protocols. So that your message should also have in there that if you know somebody, if yourself or family or friends need to move during this period of time, please understand it is, I follow all the protocols. I have done this several times. We do it safely, we do it securely, we do it successfully. Okay? Because lots of the public right now are really fearful and have been. So you need to sort of calm them to let them know that if they need to move or if they want to move, absolutely. Hundreds and thousands of deals have been done during COVID. So you need to put a message out there to let them know that it can, absolutely, it can be done safely, and you're the person they should contact for that. Okay? Because you'd be surprised that if you don't put that message out, you may not know what your database or the consumers are actually thinking, because they're not going to communicate to you, because they're going to be back there going, well, I'm not sure. Should I contact them? Should I, is it closed? Is it not closed? So just do a reassurance to them, calm the public, let them know, this is, what we're into now is the norm, and this is how we do it. And even, that particular one, you might even want to do a small video and just go over some of the things. Just say, here's how, when we're going in on appointments, here's the protocols we follow. When we're showing, here's the protocols we follow. And so just to calm the public a little bit, because there will be some that were thinking of making a move last year that held off. They were going to do it in the fall, but then, there was a talk of the second wave coming. Now that we're in lockdown, you may have some of your clients and, they may have relatives or friends that are all now going, okay, what can we do? How can we do it? Just need to be the calming voice, but let them know you have the procedures in place to make it happen successfully and safely for them. Okay, any thoughts on that? Anybody getting comments from the consumers on, I don't feel it's safe to do it? Okay.
Not yet, no.
Yeah, okay, because I have had those comments. So I just thought I would put that out there. And once discussing it with them, there's an, oh, okay, I understand. So this is what we can do. This is how we can do it. And absolutely. Okay. Anybody get any calls from investors?
No.
No? Well, I can tell you they are out there. They're actually out there. I've talked to North Bay, I've talked to Niagara Falls, I've talked to London, there are investors out there. I have clients of mine from Alberta that I sold a place in Oakville, a condo, probably 7 years ago. They called me up and said, hey, just want to let you know, we just finished that Scott McGilvery seminar on investing in real estate. I said, okay, good. Yeah, that's great. I know him. Absolutely. I said, so what's the next step? Well, they want us to pay $13,000 to them now to help us with, buying and learning how to invest in real estate. And we thought we'd best call you first. Actually, our dad said we should call you. And I said, well, that's good. Your dad had a good, right decision last time you called me to help you buy something. I said, here's how it works. So there are people in Canada that have money and are looking to invest, and they're not just looking in their own backyard. Okay? So you need to reach out to your connections, your database, your other realtor friends. Let them know that you are okay working with investors. You understand how the process is. Because when I was going through with my client, it was interesting how they were so like, okay, we have to incorporate a company. We got to do, we got to use somebody else's money, and the whole process. Now that we've gone through it, I've helped with them understanding the accounting process. Talk to my own accountant, talk to their accountant, talk to lawyers for them, and just the process of, they want to buy one in BC, they want to buy one in Alberta, they want to buy another one in Ontario. So they are, because they're also sitting on, they've got some money, they've got some equity built up. Money's cheap. So the whole process is you just need to align that, but each situation is different. It turns out for these particular people, incorporating it doesn't make sense. They're better off to buy it in their own name. Okay, so you just have to understand the differences. In some cases, I have another client of mine, it's all bought in family trust. So she owns multiple places, I manage some of them for her, but it's all in a company that all the kids and there's people own. So what I'm saying is there are investors out there. There's Niagara Falls, and they're all looking for some kind of cash flow, ideally. Okay, but it doesn't have to be in your own backyard. Is what I'm saying. Is right now for me, 2 of the properties that they're looking at, one's in North Bay, but it cash flows perfectly for them. The other one is right in their own backyard in Calgary. I'm referring that business, obviously, and I'm referring the business all over, but I'm the point person. So what I'm suggesting is that you may want to put something together for your database and for their friends and relatives, stating on how you can help with investments, not but across Canada. Okay, because they do have people. They do have there are people with money who are looking at buying real estate. And I will tell you that right now in Niagara Falls, there's a shortage of listings. And Anita has a listing that is it's got 3 units in it, listed at $400,000. Now the rents are cheap because the people have been there a while. But the phone is ringing off the hook, mostly from agents trying to get from the GTA to go down and show it, as well as Realtor.ca. Lots of leads coming off Realtor.ca. So I know, talking with the different areas, the investors are out there, and all I'm saying is there might be an avenue where you could be in a position that it would be sad if all of a sudden you had one of your clients, oh yeah, no, we bought an investment property over here, and you didn't even know about it, didn't even have the opportunity of connecting. Okay. So your message should be, a little bit of knowledge about, how real estate investment works. And then just a matter of how you can connect them through different areas across Canada and United States, for that matter, if they're looking at buying. The only reason I'm saying Canada is because currently, with the borders closed, with the interest rates as low as they are, there's opportunity in Canada to buy some good real estate. Okay, and it's at par. You don't have to worry about the exchange. So I just thought I would touch on that, because it's something that even if you don't handle investment properties, so when I'm talking about investment properties, but understanding that it's properties will have 2 units, 3 units, just from an investment point of view, just understanding the return on investment, those kind of things. So familiarize yourself, but I would send something out saying that you can assist and connect them with opportunities across Canada. Okay, because you can, and you can get some good referrals. But there are investors out there that were sitting on the sidelines that are now coming back. Okay, if you haven't done your goals for 2021 yet, I would certainly encourage you to get your goals in line. And the other thing that I'm suggesting is, it's not just a matter of setting your goals. You need to set your activity. You need to set the activities that you're going to do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, so that you can actually track and see, are you working in the business? Especially because everybody's working from home mostly. So what you have to understand is you need to be putting the hours in, or putting good things into the hours that are business related activity. In this business, and especially during this time, it is so easy to get to the end of the day and go, oh, I feel like I did a lot of stuff, but it wasn't productive stuff. Okay. So I do suggest, if you haven't done your goals or you haven't done your daily activity planners, do look at it. Business is there, understanding that you've got to put, proper activities into so many hours a day. I'm not saying you have to work 8-10 hours, but I'm just suggesting that you need to track what you're doing, just so you can get into some good habits of making sure that you're doing things that are going to produce leads and production down the road. Okay. On that note, I have talked to Lee. Lee is the one that does help with our vision board sessions each year. And she does have, I said, could you do a vision board Zoom session? She says, I absolutely could. She has also, though, done like a 25-minute video and has PDFs with that as well. So I don't know if anybody is interested in having her do something live. Now, you'd also have to get your own material, obviously, because you'll be virtual. But is that something anybody is interested in doing?
I am, totally.
Okay. No, yes, no. So you've all done it already. Okay. All right.
I'm interested, Scott.
Okay. Okay.
I've never done one.
Oh, you've never?
Oh, they're so wonderful. I've got mine in my office right here, and I look at it every day when I walk into my office, and it's very inspirational.
Yeah, I do one, and we have some very nice Robert Bateman prints in our master bedroom. I cover one of them up with my vision board.
That's a sin.
And Nadine goes, well, I guess it'll be a new surprise when we take it down next year. We'll see what print that is. But yeah. Well, I haven't done mine yet. I did talk to her. So is it better if you want me to just get the video and the PDFs? Do you want me to set up something that she does it live? So anyways, I'll talk to her a bit more, but I'll look at the video and see. But it is also to do with, it's not just doing the vision board, it's where and how you place where on the board, right? It's more than just cut and paste.
Yeah.
And I do one every year. And so I'm getting prepared to do it again. So I just reached out to her and just thought, you know what, I would let you know that yes, it can be done virtually. Or I can just get the 25-minute, I think it's 25-minute video and PDFs for the people that are interested. Okay. The DMX course. How many of you went through the Realty Executives DMX course? Okay. Shame on you if you haven't, but anyways. The International DMX course is something that you all have it. It's available in Prime Agent. As part of your kickoff for 2021, I really encourage you to go back in. You do it at your own pace. There's not like it's not set up that you have to do it by a certain day or anything like that. It's right in, just go into training, go to the DMX, because the sessions are really geared, and that's why they designed them last year when COVID started. And they were really beneficial in getting people on track, getting people to do the activities that they needed to do. So I am suggesting that one of the kickstarts to 2021 would be for you to, as an individual, to go in and do the DMX course. Okay? And they're broken down into sessions. Each session is set up so that there's activities that you have to do. So it's not just theory. Okay, so I do highly recommend that. And one of the things that, I've been, you've shared with me over the times is lots of you have had some great experiences with newer agents and agents that have been in the business 24 months or less on transactions where it's just been, I'm not going to say a horror show, but where you're finding that the newer agents and the ones that have been in the business less than 24 months seem to be lost. And that's where, when I was looking at the DMX course and I went through it, myself, I thought this would be a great avenue for actually training people and looking at this being an advantage for them. So one of the things that I came up with is we're not a company that just hires anybody or just want a whole bunch of names on a roster, where lots of companies have. So we're not, Realty Executives Plus is certainly not one of those, never has been, and will never be that kind of company. So one of the things that I was looking at is how can I help these agents that are coming in the business for a short period of time, that are struggling, aren't getting any direction. They may be paying cheap fees, but they're not getting anything for it, but actually want to have a real estate business. The problem is that they look at, when they start struggling or when they're getting in the business, they look at saying, okay, I think I'm going to go to a team. I can't tell you how many times I've had new agents ask me, say, well, maybe I should just join a team. Or I get agents that are struggling a little bit saying, maybe I should join a team. Nothing wrong with joining a team. Nothing wrong with being part of a team. But it has to be the fit for you. Okay? It has to be an individual fit. If it's somebody that's looking at saying, I want to build my business, then being on a team can have one problem, is that you work on that team, you prospect for that team, you do stuff for that team. But at the end of the day, if you ever want to leave that team, it's not your database. So you end up starting all over again. And so I've had, new agents, I've had, as I say, agents that have been struggling a little bit. So I thought about it, and I am now introducing my apprentice program. I've created a apprentice program really geared towards new agent and agents that have been in the business 18 months, the last maybe 24 months, that are finding that they're struggling or do want to build a real estate business the right way, get trained the right way. This is not for a lot of agents. There'll be lots out there that will basically say, no, I don't want to do that, because it really is set on, and I'm going to sort of read the program to you on how this works. But I wanted you to know about it before you started seeing it out there, that Realty Executives Plus has an apprenticeship program, because it's going to be on, we're putting social media out there. And basically, that's why I wanted to let you know why I'm doing this. And my goal basically is that it's going to be maximum probably 10 people a year that will actually go through the program. So it's not like I'm flooding the whole company with brand new people. There's lots of criteria they have to go through before they'll get accepted into the program. And the biggest one is accountability. It's, the people that are going to be accepted to this program are going to have to want to work. It's not sit back. It's not, are you going to give me leads? Are you going to do this? That's not what the program is about. But I am going to read to you sort of what this program is. And I can actually tell you that I already have interviewed one person from Royal LePage that is signing up and starting with us in this program later this month. So, but here it is. The apprenticeship program is designed for both new realtors to the real estate industry and existing realtors looking to take their business to the next level. The program does include theory training, but more importantly, majority of the training is implementation and performance. Each apprentice will be assigned a veteran realtor who will be a one-on-one mentor for the entire program, 365 days. The mentor will be available to attend in-person appointments with the apprentice, including but not limited to listing and buyer presentations. The mentor will also assist with supporting the apprentice with completing the mandatory RICO courses and credits. In addition to the one-on-one training, all apprentices must participate in performance improvement group sessions. These sessions are designed for all apprentices to share their weekly activity and learn and grow as a group. Sessions will include, but will not be limited to, dialogue, script training, seller buyer presentations, role playing, prospecting, projections, and targets. All apprentices must register and complete the Realty Executives International Digital Marketing Executive Program. The apprenticeship program will include the Realty Executives Prime Agent Upgrade. It also includes business cards for sale signs, sold signs, agent website, agent international and regional fees, Realty Executives Plus Association fees, all the training, all support. The program is a one-year commitment. The apprentice compensation for transactions closed during the year shall be paid out on a basis of 50-50 commission, split gross of up to $60,000, $30,000 to the apprentice, $30,000 to the brokerage, and then any balance of deals that are closing that year get paid out on a 95-5. Okay. The apprentice still is responsible for their own personal expenses, board fees, RICO fees, things like that. It is for a 365-day program, but the issue is, and this is why it's not for every agent. Not every agent's going to commit to being accountable like a job. Okay, and that's what this program does. And the reason that I'm doing the program is I know of it. I used to do this with some new agents and things like that, but the issue is the pendulum swung so far the other way that agents said, well, I'm an independent. I don't need to be accountable to anybody. And then it swung back a little bit because teams started taking it and saying, okay, well, you just join us. We'll give you leads. Well, this is sort of a bit of both, where now they're in a team environment, but they're actually going to be committed. They're going to be, there's accountability. There's sessions they have to attend. So it is more of an apprentice designed program. If you went to be an apprentice in any other business, then this is where you'd have to find that you have strict things that you have to do to be able to graduate through the program. Okay. So what I've done is I've actually set it up so that this program is starting. I can actually let you know that Bunny Denton, congratulations to her, because I actually interviewed her because she's been in a program similar to this before, and she's going to work with me side by side on implementing this program. So I just wanted to let you be aware of it. It's set up so that there's high involvement from the individual realtor. And I've gone through everything with Bunny's experience, and what she has done previously is really going to work well with implementing this. And as I say, it's a program that's not for every agent. So I don't want you to feel that all of a sudden I'm hiring a whole bunch of new agents. It's not. I handpicked them, and it's going to be that they are. The whole goal is to train them properly, get them back on track, or train them as they come in brand new, so that the following year they basically switch over to a regular Realty Executives program, but are trained well, are doing professional business. So I just wanted to let you guys know that's what I'm doing. So when you start seeing the Realty Executives Apprentice program, that's what it is. Thoughts, questions, concerns? No? Okay.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
It's Lorena. Can I give you a call later on about this?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So when you do see it, that's sort of what we're doing. Okay. And as I said, I've interviewed one of our own agents, had a referral from somebody else, a friend of theirs, and just said, I've got an agent friend of mine. It's been Royal LePage for a year. It just seems to be lost. Interviewed her twice. Perfect candidate, full-time agent, background in sales, and just hasn't had any direction. So, yeah, Julia.
Is the idea to develop them into independent agents, or to add them to teams with any one of us?
Individual agents. Yeah. That's the plan. Now, I'm open to any kind of discussions for sure. But yeah, the actual target, what I'm looked at is to develop them so that they are building their business from day one, but getting it, I don't know, I'm an old agent, right? So if you remember the days of the sweat hogs and the Tom Ferries and right, there was accountability. There was, you want to work in this business, then here's the way you have to do it. Be in the office and or be online on meetings, I guess is the new way. And if you work for a team, there's accountability. So this is sort of just a little bit of a niche that I'm seeing out there that I think will benefit the company as well as help these agents who are floundering a little bit, and just be better for the industry, in my opinion. So, okay. Any other thoughts, questions on 2021? On what you think any questions on where you think the market's going, what we see?
Any word on probate, City of Toronto? Do you know if it's still like 8-9 months out, or pushing up, or
Probate for
states?
states?
Yeah.
I haven't, we've had a couple estate sales where the probates actually went through relatively okay.
In Toronto?
In Toronto, yep.
Okay. I know Hamilton is, it's super quick, and wheels caught up, but I've got one closing the end of March. We sold it in September, and it should be a simple one, and it hasn't gone through yet. And so I hear from some people it's still 8-9 months. I hear from other people that they're catching up. So
yeah, well, the one that we did in Etobicoke, it was 60 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the lawyers basically just contacted them and said, here's what we're doing, and they were able to get it done in 60 days. So it may have been just
First on title kind of thing, one of those ones, or was it
just a regular estate sale on a detached house. No complications. It was just had to get probate, but it was, and they submitted everything, said here's the closing dates, and they were able to get it done pretty close to the closing date, but it got done before closing.
Okay. All right. Good enough. Thanks.
You still have the one that we talked about months ago, or?
Yeah, that doesn't close. That's the one that closes March 31st, with also the tenant that hasn't left yet. So.
Okay, so one of the things, Eric, you may find is they are trying to deal with ones where the closing dates are coming.
Yeah.
Okay, because I even know when I was talking with the lawyer that did mine, they said like that we put it in 60 days ahead of time, and no response. It wasn't until it was like 3 weeks before the closing date that all of a sudden they started getting communication.
Okay. That makes sense. I guess they're going to sort them that way. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, Eric, because we have one that's supposed to close next Thursday and the tenant is still in the house.
Really?
Yeah, like a week.
Yeah.
It's
we
horrifying.
serve they got a paralegal. We served the N12 to see if she'd leave end of January, and it was cash for keys. And I think she thinks she should have inherited the home because she's been there for so long and helped the guy upstairs. So kind of one of those bitter situations. But
Shit show.
yeah.
The tenant issues during this time are they are very complicated. There
They're
are
unprecedented.
right? There are the rules, but then there are the situations that right.
I mean, I feel for some of them, and we have concerns and issues, but there's some of them that are just playing the game. So.
Yeah, there are some for sure.
Because rents have come down a lot. You can find another place for a lot less. This tenant isn't even paying, refuses to pay the rent to the estate because, so anyway, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And it's trickling down to the landlords. They're just not being responsive because they know the landlord tenant board is bogged down.
Yeah,
I know some people that are paying in the high 3,000s a month for a condo downtown, and they don't have a working oven.
wow.
And the guy's not fixing it. No stove, no oven, and it's been like that for a month and a half. And they stopped paying their rent because they can't make food. And she's been suffering from cancer for a number of
Ugh.
years now, so she can't go out and doesn't like to have things brought in. Yeah, it's just terrible.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, both sides of it.
Yeah, for the probate, Eric, yeah, it may just need to get closer to the actual closing date. You start
That's good.
Okay. Any other thoughts, questions? Chantel, did you sell that condo in downtown Ottawa yet?
No, I did not.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the listing expired few days before the holiday, so I relisted it again, but I have like so many showings this week. But there's some kind of problem with the status certificate. It's an investor originally. That had an investor that submitted an offer. I was representing them, but there's a little bit of an issue with the way that I don't remember, the coil fan or something was installed. So, but they got cold feet. I think they're like first time investing in a property, and for them, but that unit is perfectly fine. There's no humidity or anything in it, but they got cold feet on that. But no, hopefully I'll have something in the next few weeks.
But the activity's increased?
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah, like today and yesterday, I've had many showings. So hopefully generate an offer soon.
And that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, Julia.
I've had a listing in downtown that's expired at the end of December, and I relisted it, and I've had 4 showings this week.
Which is better than you would have had in December.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
I wonder if the investors are going to start coming out now and realizing that maybe it's bottomed out and now's the time to get in there and buy the condos back up. Because once the borders open up and everything else, the prices are going to go back up. When, I'm not sure, but this might, if you're looking to invest, like you mentioned, condos might be the way to go.
yeah, totally agree. And that's what we talked about, right? We said that there's still the shortage, supply and demand. There's still supply and demand.
And the valuation, like Scott and I were talking about, this valuation at the end of December for condos was terrible. But that's just because December was such a terrible month. So anything that traded was trading really way down, and it'll fix itself.
I know and that's why I say the investors are coming back. They're thinking it's near the bottom. So, okay. Anything else? Any updates? Any thoughts? Any questions? Everybody's good. Good to see. Well, welcome to 2021. I'll let you know about the vision board stuff and go from there. And any other topics you want me to cover off, fire me off something and I'll investigate and see if we can have some, probably looking at doing these once every 2 weeks, sort of, instead of doing it weekly. I'm thinking, we seem to be able to cover more off in, every bi-weekly versus every week. So I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody versus trying to do one weekly. Let me know. I'm open to suggestions.
Every 2 weeks sounds good to me. I miss kind of my colleagues. Like, I'm making a circle around you guys here, so my mouse.
Yeah, you know what? I feel exactly the same. It's so nice to reconnect, and I feel like when we all talk to each other, it's almost inspirational in a way, to just drive forward, and know that we're like all part of the same team.
Yeah. No, I'm okay with that. So, no, I appreciate everybody taking the time, and but there is business there. You got to work it. Just make sure you do your daily activities, work your database. If anybody needs any help or thoughts or just want to chat, you guys know how to reach me. Okay. Everybody take care.
Okay.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.